Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. And I'd like to thank the AMCC for this opportunity to present to you today, and the esteemed sharks as well. Welcome to Alchemiya, the world's best video content, feature films, documentaries, and lifestyle programs about Islam and Muslims. Subjects include the arts, business, culture, history, programs such as the Dalai Lama talking about the Quran, the stories of Islamic science and mathematics, travel guides to Istanbul, Cairo, and Granada, award-winning feature films from Iran and Turkey. Like Netflix, Alchemiya is a video-on-demand service, and you can watch it globally anywhere through the internet on demand. Hundreds of hours of high-quality content that celebrates the best of Islam, its people, its places, and their contribution to the world for $8 a month. That's £5 English. We call our customers global urban Muslims, gummies. It's the ABC1 demographics of the Muslim world. University educated, English speaking, with high disposable incomes, they live in the economically active cities of the world. They're the vanguard of what it means to be a 21st century Muslim. They're not just our customers, they're also the subject matter of our content. And in addition to that, 10% of our customer base are non-Muslims. The Pew Research Center estimate that there are 1.6 billion Muslims on the planet. That's about 1/5 of humanity, and that's rising fast. Sadly, the vast majority of media output is focused on what's gone wrong, problems, wars, social breakdown, and personal conflict. This is a painful distortion and an injustice which causes harm to the identity of young Muslims and actually disharmony in all of our societies. We want to showcase the other side, the winners, the thinkers, the doers, the problem solvers, the creative ones. Sourced from across the Muslim world, we are working with the best creative talent from Sydney to California via Kuala Lumpur and London. Our ambitious vision is to build a high-quality service and fast-growing company that upholds the Islamic values of Al-Amin, ethical and profitable, as demonstrated by our blessed Prophet, peace be upon him. We estimate our target market to be 10% of the global Muslim population. That's 160 million people. In our first year, we are aiming to have 35,000 subscribers sign up. Our 5-year plan is to achieve a 1% penetration into that target market, 1.6 million subscribers at the end of year 5. The majority of our revenues will be reinvested back into the business for content development and marketing. We are now currently seeking funds through advanced subscriptions and crowdfunding to provide seed capital. We've employed the lean methodology to our business plan and aim to launch the beta service by the end of the year. Importantly, we are also able to connect entrepreneurs directly with their customers through sponsored programming. To date, we have received press attention from Al Jazeera, the BBC, Saudi Gazette, and Russia Today. We now seek to promote our market, our services across the USA, and consider the communities of Muslims living here as important subscribers and customers. To be involved in the AMCC and the finalists in the showcase allows us to promote the project and to gain significant exposure to the American Muslim market. Alchemiya is the work of experienced professionals across the fields of media production, Islamic scholarship, financial management, and information technology. I have over 25 years of experience in the UK media industry, mostly with the BBC. My partners are Imam Ajmal Masroor, who is listed in the Muslim 500. He's an imam at 4 different mosques across London. CFO David Horn is an ex-BBC finance director who trained with PwC and has been CFO of 2 companies listed on the London Stock Exchange. And our CTO, Dr. Iftikhar Khan, is an accomplished technology professional, including work for GSK and Ernst & Young. Together, we form the core of the management team.
Thank you very much. Ifti and myself will be covering this company, so Ifti, you can go first.
All right, thank you. Congratulations, Naveed. I mean, first off, I have to comment with a CTO whose name is Iftikhar. You just can't go wrong. so of course, I may be biased, but I know I'll try to keep that in mind. Congratulations, Naveed. Excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Great idea. Tremendous opportunity. I'm somewhat disappointed. Disappointed because you have a great team, you have a great concept, And I think if you think about it as to who is the most popular poet in the United States today, it happens to be
Rumi.
Rumi. There you go. So if Rumi is the most popular poet in the United States today, there is no reason for you to be thinking about a 10% market penetration. You should be thinking way bigger, way more broader than that. And I think you'll be surprised if you create the content that you really intend to create, the kind of reception that you can get. Having said that, I would love to hear, why is your content going to be any different? How is it unique? Why couldn't someone else create it or copy it or take a leapfrog above you? As to what is it unique about your content that you think you'll have a sustainable edge?
If you look at the current market, there tend to be three models. The first one is actually ethnic specific, so Urdu television, Urdu dramas, Arabic television, Arabic dramas, or Turkish television, lifestyle programs. So this is very ethnic. The second model is 24-hour news. We've seen that Al Arabiya to Al Jazeera. And the third model is Teledawa, people giving actually Islamic instruction. So we're offering lifestyle content, which actually is the same standard that you might see perhaps on the BBC or on National Geographic television. It's documentaries, a lot of stuff to do around food and travel, but also feature films. So we're distinct in that. About 40% of our content, 60% is sourceable on the market. I've been to key buying exhibitions, I have experience of that. But 40% we're creating from scratch. And we're also doing that with a group of new filmmakers who are actually not getting any opportunities. Some of them are working out of their bedrooms, but they're very talented, and they have a Muslim mindset as well as industry standards.
Sure. And one last question, Naveed. Talk a little bit about the distribution challenges or the distribution strategies that you have.
Those are actually been solved because we're not actually a technology company. We're not putting any R&D or any development into actually the streaming platform. We're working partners, a company called Uyala. They're the second best in the world. And so the actual engine that streams the content to viewers, whether you're sitting in Kuala Lumpur or in California, that's actually taken care of. Our focus is the editorial aspect. That's something that can't be replicated. It's our mindset. It's the fact that we ourselves are actually Muslims who kind of occupy this space between these different cultures. So in terms of distribution, it's a question of actually just doing licensing deals, but fundamentally we're developing a commissioning process of high editorial standards.
Okay, great. Maybe one thing I had a problem understanding is your business model. There wasn't a lot on the operating expense side. So as Irfan said, like, what is your cost of customer acquisition? You mentioned you have this partnership, but what have you monetized that and calculated approximately what your cost of customer acquisition is per customer?
Customer acquisition at the moment has just been really through Facebook. It's been virtually zero. I mean, we've started our crowdfunding appeal.
No, not now, but I'm saying is you have a goal to get to 35,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
So, and I think over 5 years is that, by year 5? No, 35,000 year 1 and 1.6 million by year 5. So those 35,000, what are you assuming for customer acquisition costs for those 35,000?
Fundamentally, that's based around the fact that actually Muslims are already congregated in digital spaces. So it's a targeted market. We can already go and get our early adopters.
Yeah, I know, but you haven't made an assumption on that. You're just assuming because of social media and you have such a wonderful platform, you're going to get the 35,000.
We're looking at about 80,000 English pounds.
18,000 pounds of cost.
Of cost.
Now, does that include the website servicing?
No, sorry, that's just marketing alone.
That's just marketing. Okay, so that's not an all-in cost per customer.
We're raising currently £150,000.
Okay, and you indicated that you started a crowdfunding to raise up to £1 million or $1 million, somewhere in that range, with the 35,000 subscribers, 10,000 of which I guess you're trying to get, or 3,000 of which you're trying to get as sponsors. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So that launched in August. Where are you at with that year to date?
We have £100,000. $100,000, sorry.
So about 300 of the 3,000 subscribers? Okay.
Yeah.
And in terms of your overall model, are you looking to stay with just a subscription model like a Netflix or a fee for service like Amazon, or are you looking more at the ad model like Hulu? What buckets would you say your business falls in?
We're looking at actually the Murdoch model, so we're fundamentally looking at multiple revenue streams. But the combination of the future will be not 30-second spot advertising, but more sponsored content. So Turkish Airlines will pay for a 6-part series on Istanbul. So it's sort of combining businesses with content, because we're out in the internet.
So you're looking more B2B type
Absolutely.
model. Okay, thank you. You can take now the next 3.5 minutes to, if there are specific questions that you have and the challenges that you want to pose.
Okay. I think to Iftikhar, I would like to mention the fact that being British, we tend to be more conservative with our figures. So do you think this could be a problem if we are downplaying actually the size of the market?
Being British or being Muslim?
Well, both.
No, I don't think either is a problem. I mean, there's lots of successful British entrepreneurs and lots of successful Muslim entrepreneurs. So you just have to aim high. I think this is a tremendous idea.
We have that aim, but often in the UK, people don't like to see vast, assumptions. They
it's only a 6-hour flight away to move across the pond.
Absolutely. Okay. And then my question to Adnan is, what do you think is the major challenge for a fast-growing company?
Well, of course, it depends in which sector. The sector you're in, of course, is littered with a graveyard of companies that have tried and their costs got run away from them, and there's obviously a build-up period. So I'd say for you, try to focus on a very addressable market, try to really understand what your costs are, and then go out and get funding based on that. I think the crowdfunding is a great place to start, and mashallah, you've done a great job. And, I think extremely highly of your company. I follow you for years. You're doing an amazing, amazing job. Don't undercut yourself. I think you need to bring in more capital. You could probably get some pretty serious investors, even if they put a small amount. And think about just focusing on one area that's addressable for you and getting successful at that, and then building it out. Some of the biggest problems startups make is they shotgun it instead of snipering it. They go out and try to do too many things at one time instead of focusing on success and building a beachhead. And you've already started to build a beachhead among certain pockets of the community. Now you need to synthesize that together and think about how you scale that.
If I could just add to Adnan's answer, I think the biggest challenge, and that's one of the questions you had for the panelists, is running out of cash. It's just very, very alarmingly challenging when you face that situation. So in my opinion, what you should be doing is thinking creatively about how to be funding your content creation process. And I think there are lots of people out there, if you were to be strategic, who would be interested in sponsoring the content creation, which should be your biggest cost bucket. And if you are sincere and careful about it, I think you will survive.
Excellent. Great.
Just to dovetail on that, I mean, you mentioned the Murdoch model, but that's where, as Ifti was saying, you should look for partnerships with TV shows, ISPs, cable companies. Start with just one of them to start, build traction. That'll enable you to go to other providers as well to build it out.
Great. Thank you.
Well, I'll let the rest of the panelists also comment.
So I just want to comment on one thing that I want you to be cognizant of. You mentioned you're targeting 160 million global urban Muslims. But I would argue that a global urban Muslim in Toronto might have a very different content need than someone sitting in Abu Dhabi. So particularly the stage that you're at, I would encourage you to push yourself to think about what is the content that you're trying to create, how are you making it distinctive, and because again, you're trying to muddy up 160 million people will have different needs. So what do you really stand for? Are you a religious platform? When you talk about Muslim content, are you doing education? Is it a religious platform? Think hard about what is the brand that you're trying to emote and plan your content strategy accordingly.
Yeah, we have done all that distinction between different markets, but we're fundamentally not a religious channel. We are actually a lifestyle channel. So it happens to be the lifestyle of Muslims that's there. So naturally there's an element of it which is religious, but it's soft.
Yeah, it's been said before, but don't outrun your money. I've seen so many companies that they think they have to stay small in order to impress investors, and you're quickly going to run through 150 million pounds. 150, whatever the number was, I'm sorry. So really think hard about what long-term success looks like and how much money you're going to have to get out there to sustain yourself when the times get tough. Because this industry, as you know, is littered with companies that have tried to come into the cable business or whatever and just haven't been able to sustain themselves. So really think about the amount of money you need to be successful. It's going to be a critical feature for you.
We developed a very large model around about 4 or 5 million, and that was done with somebody who launched 14 cable channels. He's an ex-BBC executive, so he advised on that model. And then fundamentally, after 3 or 4 years of meeting a range of investors, we then sort of were told to head towards the lean methodology, which is actually what a lot of investors today are looking for. They're looking for evidence in terms of traction. So the crowdfunding seemed quite a good sort of way to start that. And so
yeah, you may only be able to get that amount of money up front. All I'm saying is make sure you know what the amount of money you're going to need to be successful is, because you'll go through that lean amount very, very quickly.
Sure.
And if you don't have a bank account that lets you scale and take advantage of the opportunities you create, you're going to die for the wrong reason.
And in context to that, I mean, for example, you're looking at 35,000 subscribers in year 1 and 1.6 million in year 5, which is $120 million in sales. And there wasn't a lot of pro forma information, which I was disappointed in, but like in terms of financials or business plan, I'm sure you must have it somewhere, but in what we got, there was very little. But what was there was a graph, and it showed you immediately profitable, and then just these, what I call hockey stick, charts. And as a VC, if somebody comes to me with that, I don't even read it, I throw it in the garbage. So what I would really suggest is that you just look at a really viable plan, because if you think about it, Netflix got to 800,000 subscribers after 4 years and $40 million, and they were what's called a long tail model. I'm sure you know the long tail model. So they already had an embedded thousands of films in their library, and they were drawing upon that. So they had a very different asset scheme in terms of monetization, and they still only got up to 800,000. And of course now they're huge, but it was that initial traction that got them the win in other areas.
So if you don't mind me adding to that, there's a very famous venture capitalist who had this mantra, and this very famous venture capitalist happened to be a Muslim brother, and his name is Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan till he gets punched in the face. Everybody has a plan till they get punched in the face. And I think that punch in the face for a startup is running out of cash.
Thank you.